Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the Psych coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about boundaries. More specifically, the biggest clue that you need to implement more boundaries. Boundaries is a popular term, isn't it? We talk a lot about the importance of boundaries in relationships, the importance of boundaries at work, the importance of knowing the things we are okay with and the things we're not okay with, the things that we find acceptable to manage and the things we don't. And boundaries is our way of communicating that. Arguably, the more boundaried we are, the better self-confidence we have and the better we feel about ourselves. Because in theory, people will respect the boundaries that we put in place. And if we don't, we apply consequences to that, whether that is reinforcing the boundaries further or indeed walking away from that person. However, it can be really difficult to know if you've got enough boundaries or whether you should have more. What is the clue as to whether you need to have more boundaries? There's one big giveaway. It's resentment. If you find yourself resenting people, resenting situations, resenting how things turned out, resenting the fact that you've gone along with something that you wish you hadn't, then that is your biggest clue that you need more boundaries. There's a school of thought, which I totally agree with, which is that if you don't implement boundaries in your relationships, they will suffer. They will suffer because you will start growing resentful of constantly going against your own needs, meeting the needs of other people, and going along with things you simply don't like or agree with. It's not healthy for relationships to not have boundaries. And if you think you're doing the relationship a favour by always going along with what the other person wants, stop and think. Are you really okay with it? Or actually, is there a growing resentment because your needs aren't getting met? Is there a growing resentment because you feel like you're being taken advantage of? Is there a growing resentment because you don't feel valued? If that is you, then that is your sign that you need to do something about your boundaries. Every time you notice yourself feeling resentful, every time you notice yourself picking apart a situation and thinking, I wasn't happy with that, that shouldn't have gone the way it did, they shouldn't have behaved the way they did, question whether or not there could have been more boundaries. If you use the rule of resentment means needing more boundaries, then that means you can do something to address some of your relationships. And doing something to address your relationships is empowering. It means you can do something about it. It doesn't mean you're at the mercy of how people treat you. So look out for resentment. And if you smell it, if you notice it's there, take that as your warning sign that you need to start being more boundaried. If that is the case, watch my tips to being more boundaried and put them in place, and you will experience a happier level of satisfaction with your relationships, and ultimately you will spend less time feeling frustrated. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will of course give you plenty more tips on how you can use psychology on a day-to-day basis.